Chapter 48. A familiar face. Marcus was strolling through the bustling market district of Rokan with Zazie tightly locked into his left arm. Stalls made of timber and cloth embellished the narrow sandstone streets with vibrant colours. All around them hung the fragrant aroma of exotic spices and herbs, bringing a certain comfort that reminded Marcus of home, even though the smells were completely foreign to him. Vendors shouted for his attention from both sides in an attempt to lure him to their stalls. Marcus wasn't even paying attention to what they were saying, but he did make the crucial mistake of glancing at the wares that were put on display. Of course, showing even the faintest sign of interest in front of an experienced merchant was like spilling blood into shark-infested waters. He immediately got pulled by his elbow and guided to a stall with a collection of weapons spread across the counter. Out of sheer courtesy, he cast his eyes on the wares, but eventually declined the opportunity for a closer inspection with a polite shake of his head. Even if he was guaranteed the finest quality in all of Aden, a sword on the belt of someone like him was no more than an extra milk tooth to a wolf. However, he wasn't allowed to leave until he had seen the truly special merchandise that was kept in a heavy chest inside the tent behind the stall. But an especially annoyed look from Zazie instantly made the vendor relent his pursuit. Upsetting the captain of the city guard, who also happened to be the granddaughter of the king, was an absolute guarantee for regret. Better to lose a customer than to lose a permit. Zazie reclaimed the arm of her betrothed and quickly made her way to the heart of the market. Along the sides of the 100-yard square were food stands that offered culinary treats from all over the realm. Dozens of customers were waiting in long, meandering lines to get a taste of the foreign delicacies. No matter the state of the realm, a mass gathering of hungry people occupied the world-renowned food court of Rokan around the clock. Not surprising, as the entire place was filled with the seductively appetizing smells of roasted nuts, grilled meat, and broiled vegetables. At the center of the market, 3 musicians were playing a cheerful tune that brought some much-needed joy to an otherwise bleak and frigid winter day. Many people passing by showed appreciation by tossing their hard-earned coins into a wooden box beside the musicians. Marcus and Zazie stood there for a moment to enjoy the music, but neither had any coins on them to contribute to the growing stack of copper, silver, and even gold. Zazie was dressed for duty and never walked around with a purse when she was working, while Marcus wore a Malaki robe that was traditionally pocketless.
"Over here!"
Zazie shouted, waving at a burly man as he entered the market square from the back.
"There you are! I've been looking all over the place for you!"
The man lit up a bright smile upon seeing Marcus and placed a fist against an open palm.
"Lord Marcus, good to see you embracing the comfort of our beautiful Malaki garments. I certainly hope these past few weeks in this fine city have been kind to you."
Marcus mirrored the gesture, happy to see a familiar face again since all of his Oneran comrades had left Rokan.
"Lieutenant Faisal,"
he said, and pinched his pearly white robe.
"I fear that embrace would be too strong a word. Perhaps tolerate matches my acceptance level a bit better."
"Ah, but it is a start, no? If it's any consolation, I do think it suits you well."
"Enough of the chit-chat,"
Zazie said with a slap across her lieutenant's chest.
"You will be in command for the rest of the day. Pappy wants to speak with me and Marcus about our upcoming wedding."
She grimaced and scratched her brows.
"Such a hassle."
Faisal burst into a laughter, so thunderous it even startled one of the musicians into missing a note.
"Mala, Mala, Zafira Mantarok! You should look forward to such a grandiose occasion. I still fondly remember the day I wedded my missus. Such a glorious milestone in my life."
His thoughts wandered off momentarily before he turned to Marcus with a devilish grin.
"Have you already started eating goroshk?"
Marcus grunted and slowly slid his eyes to the side with a disgruntled scowl.
"You mean horse penis soup?"
Faisal responded with a dismissive sound and clapped Marcus on the shoulder.
"Everything sounds less appetizing when you say it like that, Dom Hiso. Goroshk is good for you and ensures the birth of a baby boy."
"I don't know how many times I have to explain that a bloodthorn doesn't need something like that."
"Your sister exists, doesn't she?"
Zazie said absently, as she snapped her fingers and made a few angry gestures at one of her subordinates, who was just staring at them from a corner instead of performing his duty.
You two are such downers.
Faisal said.
Don't let all this negativity sour your seed, Lord Marcus.
Can we please not talk about my seed?
Absolutely not. Your seed will be the talk of the city until Zazie squirts out her little Rachna. Oh, and while we are on that subject anyway, have you thought of a name yet?
Marcus and Zazie glanced at each other and turned red in an instant.
We've discussed it,
they said in unison. Faisal laughed again, loud as an erupting volcano, but the musician behind him anticipated the outburst this time and kept playing his strings undisturbed like a proper artist.
Let me guess. Can I guess? I want to guess. Give me 3 attempts, all right?
They shrugged. Faisal rubbed his hands and licked his lips.
Okay, are you ready? I know it starts with an M. Could it perhaps be Miro?
He arched an eyebrow and stared at them expectantly. Zazie flinched and winced.
I am impressed and also slightly disturbed. That name was indeed on my list. But no, it is not correct. Marcus vehemently rejected Miro with very little concern for my delicate feelings.
Marcus flushed and became even redder than he already was.
That was not at all what I...
It was a joke, handsome. Fuck Miro. I don't give a shit about Miro.
Faisal grinned and waited for the awkwardness to pass.
Okay, second guess,
he said when his excitement overtook his patience.
What about Marshall? That's an O'Nearan name, isn't it?
It is,
Marcus said.
Coincidentally, Marshall was pretty high on my list, and also the name of my late grandfather.
We are not putting Marshall II on the throne,
Zazie grumbled.
Our son deserves his own name.
Well, it would actually be Marshall V if he were to carry the Bloodthorn name. My grandfather was the 3rd, and one of my cousins already claims the title of the 4th.
Marcus twisted his lips and grunted.
Point taken. Fair guess, though, big man.
Faisal laughed and pounded his chest in celebration of the compliment.
All right, final guess.
He rubbed and blew into his hands as if playing a game of dice.
Malcolm!
He said with full conviction and theatrically spread his arms like the protagonist in a stage play after the grand finale, highly anticipating his flawless performance to be received with cheers and applause. Zazie cackled and slapped her thigh.
Not even close!
The name doesn't have to start with the letter M, you know,
Marcus added in a mumble. Faisal, frozen like a statue with his arms still spread wide, arched a single eyebrow and pouted his lips.
It doesn't? Then what is the name you have come up with?
Micah!
They answered in harmony again. Zazie held up a fist, and Marcus, not even needing to look, bumped it with a fist of his own. Faisal roared in laughter.
Micah,
he then repeated thoughtfully.
I know my opinion regarding the matter probably counts for nothing.
Huh?
Zazie said only half jokingly.
I try to avoid speaking in absolutes,
Marcus said with a bit more tact, not really used to being the well-mannered one in social interactions.
Arash Kumboya! You two are horrible friends, and I was about to say that a name like that is destined for greatness.
Faisal sharply sucked his teeth and shook his head, but true to his character, he quickly topped it off with a smile. The lieutenant was never one to stay grouchy for too long.
It sounds like a proper Malaki name that's just about O'Nearan enough for everyone not to lose face. Micah Ragnarok. A name that befits a future king, and I would gladly bend my knee to him.
Zazie waved him off, even though she was clearly moved by Faisal's words.
A man your size shouldn't be so sappy, Kumar Toya.
She turned away from Faisal to conceal her delight and noticed that the glaring guard from earlier had left his post entirely now.
Enough talk. We really need to be going. Pappy gets unreasonably irate when he gets delayed. Always so impatient, those Baratoks.